Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Wednesday. Happy hump day, one and all. Thanks for being with us. We're here till 6 o'clock on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our streaming video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. I'm Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis is across the glass. Brendan Dworzinski is off today. Royals dropped the rubber game to the Baltimore Orioles 8-6. The losing streak is no more. That's the good news. The bad news is the Royals remain in the American League cellar after this afternoon's defeat. And it kind of snuck up on him. Michael Wacha went from cruising to not. And therein a lesson for everybody. Every pitcher's cruising until they're not. And it was very sudden and abrupt. And there was no pulling Michael Wacha out of the tailspin. And then Eli Morgan came in, made things worse, giving up the 3-run home run to Kobe Mayo that provided the difference. Royals did rally a bit in the bottom half of that sixth inning, but nothing doing in the final frames as the Royals record drops to 8-17 with the loss today. We'll talk about it a little bit here on the program. Also, big Royals news that we'll get to in headlines. The new home for the Royals now has a home, and it will be the Crown Center, appropriately enough, I suppose. The Royals making the announcement today in conjunction with their corporate partnership now, or at least their location partnership with the folks at Hallmark, a nearly $2 billion investment into Kansas City, for which the public is on the hook for about a third. According to all the reporting that has been done. We've already had some one texter in particular not pleased in the chat, but we will certainly talk about that big news from the Royals' perspective. There are renderings. The renderings are AI slop, or at least the renderings were put together by somebody who does not know what a batter's eye is and does not understand you have to have one in a baseball stadium. But other than that, it looked cool. We'll get into that. We'll touch on that mostly in our headline segment today. We are condensed for time, so in the 5 o'clock hour today, we'll get to our final episode of Mock Draft Wednesday. It's our season finale of Mock Draft Wednesday. Some final looks at mock drafts from across the World Wide Web, as we are now 1 day away from the 2026 NFL Draft. Also, we got a guest coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com will join the program for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, presented by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Get Fitz's thoughts on all of the latest K-State athletics news. We'll do also a little bit of What Is Wrong With You coming up here in just a little bit. You are invited and encouraged to be part of the show. The text line is open, 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us in the comments on our YouTube chat. If you are watching the show on YouTube today, check us out on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. See Andrew, Mark, Jeffrey, Christopher. David's been in the chat. And appreciate everybody who is in, and look forward to hearing from more of you as we go on the YouTube live chat. 580 Sports Talk. Owe you a keyword real quick for the Win 1K a Day sweepstakes. This hour's keyword is fix. As in, boy, the Royals sure are in a fix, aren't they? Fix. F-I-X. Fix. Fix. That's the keyword. Text fix to 785-272-9429. That's how you get registered this hour. You have until 5 o'clock to text that word fix. And when you do, you will be registered for your chance to win $1,000 today. The Win 1K a Day sweepstakes here on 580 WIBW. Start with the good news. Royals are no longer on a losing streak. They squeaked one out last night, 6-5 over the Orioles in the second game of the series. And I never miss a chance, you know this, to do a little bit of patting myself on the back. And I said on the final word on yesterday's program, the Royals don't feel like the team that's going to go take a win. They need to have one served up for them. Baltimore is going to have to give them one. And that is essentially what Orioles closer Ryan Helsley did in the ninth inning with back-to-back walks, a wild pitch that moved the runners to second and third, and another wild pitch that allowed Michael Garcia to score the game-winning run. This after, and credit to the Royals, after a what is becoming an all-too-familiar eighth-inning meltdown from the bullpen, Matt Strahm giving up a go-ahead home run to Adley Rutschman. The Royals had a response for a change. Michael Massey's game-tying home run, the first hit allowed all season by Orioles reliever Rico Garcia, tied the game in the bottom of the eighth and set the stage, along with a 1-2-3 ninth and an important bounce-back outing from Lucas Erceg for a Royal victory. And so the 8-game losing streak was no more. Unfortunately, they may have started a new one today. 8-6 is the final score, and the Royals held a 3-2 lead going into the sixth inning. And man, it can turn fast. It can turn even when it doesn't really look like it's turning, because Michael Wacha was not being hit hard by any stretch of the imagination. The Orioles had a lot of end-of-the-bat hits, particularly in that sixth inning. But it happens in a hurry. Michael Wacha went from really being on cruise control, which he was after the Pete Alonso home run in the first inning. He was excellent. Innings 2 through 5, he looked as good as he's looked all season long. He's been terrific and looked well on his way to another quality start. But after a leadoff out, a walk, and then 4 straight singles. And the last of those singles making it a 5-3 ball game, scoring 2 runs and not 1, because Jack Caglione didn't hit the cutoff man and allowed Leody Taveras to advance to second base on his game-tying single, which in turn allowed Taveras to score easily on the 2-run single by the next hitter. And man, that's just how fast it can snowball, a rally like that. It's not instant death. It's not death by shotgun blast. It's death by pinprick. You're dying and you don't even notice it. And then Eli Morgan threw a slider that didn't slide to Kobe Mayo, who hit it off the FCA building across I-70, and then the Royals were super dead. It just happened that fast. And unfortunate, because the Royals did a lot of things well offensively, really for a second consecutive game. Home runs for Vinny Pasquantino, Carter Jensen, and Kyle Isbell. Carter Jensen, by the way, that's 6 dingers for the kid. We were talking off the air. The Royals' record for home runs in a single season by a rookie is very attainable for Carter Jensen. The record is 24, and that was set by, of course, Royals fans remember him well, the 1994 American League Rookie of the Year, the Hammer, Bob Hamlin. If you're not familiar with Bob Hamlin, Spencer, that's a little before your time. Go look up a picture of Bob Hamlin. I want your live reaction to seeing what Bob Hamlin looks like for the first time.
What?
Not like, you may not like it, but this is what peak physical performance looks like. He had the glasses on, not the greatest body in the world. Just a big old dinger smacker. In the 1994 American League Rookie of the Year. 1995, he hit 168. So, life happens. Life comes at you fast. But that's the record for home runs by a Royals rookie. It's just 24. And that feels very attainable for Carter Jensen. The power is very real. Still want to see him make a little bit more contact by and large, but Jensen's power is the real thing. He also had an RBI single earlier in the game, so drove in 2 in the contest. That's been really encouraging to see that it really seems like development for Jensen and for Jack Caglione. Those are 2 really important players to the future of the Kansas City Royals. And it's not been linear growth by any means, but to see both guys look improved here in the month of April, and for Jensen in particular to be producing in such a way that now he's written in pen in the middle of the order every time he plays, that has been a real positive development for the Royals.
I mean, he sets his alarm.
Yes, that's another thing too. He is arriving to the games on time now, which is a welcome change.
It's okay, Carter. We've all been there.
It's another one of those rookie adjustments, right?
We've all been there.
So the offense does sort of seem like there is a corner that it's turning, but unfortunately, you would have felt really good. You told me before the day started, Royals got Michael Wacha 6 runs of support. I would have assumed Royals would have won today's game, but unfortunately, Not the case as the boys in blue slipped to 8-17 before a much-needed off day for them, and let's be honest, for all of us following this woebegone baseball season, at least as it has begun. Oh, yeah, one other thing. Michael Garcia might be hurt. So that's the other bad news from today's game. Garcia left in the sixth. I saw Nick Lofton out there at the top of the sixth inning. I thought, well, that's not good because you know what they're not doing in a one-run game? Taking out a Gold Glover for defense unless something's wrong. And I was kind of hoping maybe he just had some bad clams or something before the game. But no, right elbow soreness is the word on Michael Garcia. So that will bear some monitoring through the off day, and hopefully he can be back in the lineup and playing the hot corner for Kansas City on Friday when the Royals begin their next series against the visiting Los Angeles Angels. 8-6 again, the final. Royals drop one to the O's. We'll take our first break here this hour on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we got a round of What Is Wrong With You. Then following that, it's Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com for this week's edition of the Wildcat Wrap-Up presented by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. We've got headlines. We've got Mock Draft Wednesday, the season finale, and a whole lot more. We're with you until 6, so it's a short show, but we packed a lot of fun into it. We're really glad you're here on this hump day on 580 Sports Talk. It's What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. We've got two new stories competing today, trying to take down our current weekly winner, the Lego Roni incident, where a gentleman was stealing valuable Legos and returning the purchased sets back to Target stores with pasta in them instead of Lego pieces. When you shake them and you can't see inside, it sounds exactly the same. 28-year-old Jarrell Augustine carried out about a $34,000 fraud. That was the cost in stolen or damaged property from 70 known or suspected incidents of theft. Well, not really theft. I guess it is theft. He stole the Lego. He bought the set, took what he wanted out of the set, and then returned the sets. So nobody was out any money. People were out. And he was finally caught in Orange County, California, and arrested. It's a good story. It's a really strong candidate for the week, and I think for the month, too. But we got 2 new ones today. Spencer Dupuis, how about you go first?
Yeah, we're going to Miami-Dade County, Florida, an investigation into a fraud scheme at 2 Home Depot locations in South Florida led to the arrest of the store manager. Authorities said the suspect, Mauricio Jimenez, conducted at least 4,500 separate unauthorized orders totaling around $55 million worth of merchandise. According to the arrest form, he was 48 of Hialeah, worked as a manager at Home Depot and in West Miami-Dade, and previously worked as a manager in Hialeah Gardens. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office deputy said that over 28 months he engaged in deliberate, systematic, and ongoing scheme to defraud Home Depot by applying unauthorized markdowns to merchandise, significantly reducing prices beyond permissible limits.
He had that HBO sale going.
Yeah.
Help a brother out.
So doing that for, they say, 28 months. Of the $55 million in gross sales that he discounted off, authorities said that the net sales were $30 million, markdowns of approximately $24 million, leading to negative sales margins for Home Depot of $4.3 million.
That's a drop in the bucket to Arthur Blank. Come on.
According to the arrest form, not only was no money made on these sales, but it cost Home Depot over $4 million to sell these accounts. He was taken into custody on Tuesday at the Home Depot location that he worked at. He's facing charges of organized fraud of $50 million or more and first-degree grand theft. As of this morning, he was being held in the correction center on a $15,000 bond. I feel like as a store manager, this would get you fired, right?
You would think.
Like misplacing all the, like having these negative amounts of stuff. I feel like as a store manager, you're supposed to bring up sales.
Yeah,
not lower.
Yeah, wow, we're hemorrhaging money at this one Home Depot. Oh, good. That stopped, but now it started again at another location. Let's see if there's a common denominator here.
Oh, the store manager.
He's out there
who got arrested before he got fired.
Yeah, I can do $49.99 for that lawnmower, for that riding mower.
Have you ever heard of the Home Depot things though, that they in their system they knock things down to a penny that are supposed to get taken off the shelves, but they don't have enough workers to physically take all the stuff off the shelves. So people will go to Home Depot and buy, like, I don't know, Bluetooth speakers that are like $100 for 1 cent.
I have not heard of that.
Okay, that's the whole thing.
Huh. Interesting. Anyhow, so we got our Home Depot fraudster in one corner. We also have a Florida story from me today. We're going to Lake County, Florida, Lake Mineola High School, where we meet substitute teacher Angela Faith Jordan, who was arrested on Monday after she was caught acting erratically in class. What does that mean? You're about to find out. In a case report, deputies say the incident happened around 10:20 a.m. A school resource deputy received a staff alert, and upon his arrival or their arrival to the classroom, the deputy found Jordan yelling incoherently, stating that they should, quote, put her in prison for life. Investigators said they learned before their arrival, Jordan had been yelling, slamming her hands on a desk, making inappropriate statements to students, and twerking in the classroom. This included telling students that she would engage in sexual activity with them and referring to herself as a, quote, $1 million prostitute.
Wow.
Assistant principal entered and instructed Miss Jordan to gather her belongings and leave the classroom. Miss Jordan refused, stating that she did not want to be tased. She continued to refuse to leave, prompting the deputy to restrain her and escort her to the front office. Meanwhile, investigators say they spoke with a victim who claimed that Jordan had battered her, that she was yelled at, called a derogatory name, and Miss Jordan placed her hands on her head, the victim's head, and the back of her neck before moving her hand towards her throat. So Jordan faces misdemeanor counts of disorderly conduct, simple battery, and 2 counts of disruption of a school function.
Wow.
So we had that teacher that did the cocaine in the classroom, won the month, I believe. I think she was our March champion. This woman had to have done something. You don't just start twerking in the classroom and like trying to choke your students and then also offering to have sex with them. Like, that's not something you do when you're of sound mind and body.
Nope.
That tells me there may have been some substances involved. The district sent a statement to News 6, clickorlando.com. We are aware of the arrest. Parents have been notified. The substitute teacher was hired February 4th, 2025, and employment was terminated today. So I don't know if that means she's a long-term sub or if she's just a frequent flyer, which is my guess. That she's probably a frequent flyer, like somebody who, takes a sub job here and there. So she's been doing this for over a year and just broke bad on Monday. Well, Monday was 420. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Hey, a texter refers to as the substitute twerker. Good text from the 785. Says it's too bad you have two really good stories on the same day with a great weekly winner already. It is too bad. But we got to pick one today. Who wins today?
I don't know, man. I feel like
the fraud scheme is good, but this woman was twerking on in the front of classroom and referring to herself as $1 million prostitute.
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't have the youngins learning about that. So
no.
That's got to be it.
Yeah, we're going to go with the substitute twerker. But does that beat the Lego theft?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He was putting pasta in Lego boxes. It's just the picture of, I wonder, did he think it through? Did he okay, well, I only took some of the figurines out of this one. So only a couple of pieces of elbow macaroni here. Was he a real connoisseur about it? Do you think he just I'm just going to you think they noticed, that's funny. That guy bought 2 really expensive Lego sets and 8 boxes of Kraft Mac. I guess his expensive tastes don't run towards dinner. They just run toward Legos.
Yeah.
But the Lego Roni scheme, that's going to continue on as our winner today and for the week on What Is Wrong With You. When we come back, Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com for this week's Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors on 580 Sports Talk. We welcome in on the Flaming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline, Tim Fitzgerald, publisher of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Wildcat Wrap-Up is sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors, who provide high-quality products at affordable prices. You can check out their showrooms in either Wamego or Lawrence or visit them online at tallgrasswindows.com. excellence without exception. That's Tall Grass Windows and Doors. Fitz, how you feeling about your pronunciation of the newest member of the K-State men's basketball roster, the Slovakian sensation that they got to commit from yesterday?
We're just going to call him Tim. Okay, we're just going to go with that. He's going to go by one name. He's kind of like Madonna, but they couldn't afford all those syllables, so we're just going to go with Tim. It's a useful name. It's a nice name. Usually represents someone very kind and somewhat attractive. So we'll go with Tim.
We are speaking, of course, of Timotej Malavek. I believe I have all the diacritics correct and the pronunciation right, but I might not. Another transfer from a Power 5 program that was a rotation player last year. And that has been really a common theme for the guys that Casey Alexander has taken. It's a whole bunch of guys who played at a high level and maybe didn't produce big numbers, but are going to be comfortable enough from day one with what it's going to take to be a rotation player at a bare minimum in a conference like the Big 12. I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think I understand at one point it's not as much fun as going to get the guy who averaged 20 a game somewhere, but I think there's a lot of value in having guys who know what it takes to play against high-level power conference competition.
Look, we really have no idea what this team's going to be like. They're asking a bunch of guys to come together, 12 new players, and technically it's 13 because, Andre Kostic hasn't played with any of these guys, so the whole mix is new. And I know that they recognize some of these players can play at a much higher level than they've been doing or asked to do. And maybe they just fit this system really well. But we're not going to know what they have probably until they actually step on the court. We overestimated Jerome Tang, and I don't want to, compensate by trying to underestimate this roster because this is a coach who's been consistently winning and knows what type of players he wants.
That's just it. That's the thing that like the negative reaction that you see in some places to the roster that Kansas State is putting together. Like it's okay to say that, maybe it feels a little bit underwhelming on paper, but like, okay, what's the flip side? You go and get a bunch of big splashy names. That's exactly what didn't work for the last guy. Like, I don't understand what the cognitive dissonance there, it seems like.
I agree. It's been amazing to hear people talk about how important next year is as he has a really good season. And I'm like, well, it really doesn't mean anything. We just saw that. You can have a really good first season, but if you don't build upon it, that doesn't mean a dang thing. And I'd rather have a bad first season that is built upon and, maybe a mediocre one, not bad, just kind of average season that is built upon and a foundational season that allows the program to grow and move forward. And they're doing a really nice job of kind of balancing classes as best they can. So this isn't a got to replace them all again next year type of roster. They're going to have a number of guys return.
Tim Fitzgerald, publisher at GoPowerCat.com, joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors here on 580 Sports Talk. Do you think they are done adding out of the portal in particular? Do you think they might take another freshman or two? Or do you think that roster is pretty close to being settled as it goes?
I would imagine they're going to just hand out one more scholarship. Honestly, I don't know where it'll go. I think it's interesting they tapped into a foreign player because that's another way to insulate from NIL because they're limited on what they can receive. But I don't know where they'll go for it. I'll say this. I kind of hope they go out and find someone that has proven he can score double digits on a consistent basis because I think fans are probably rightfully a little concerned about the scoring punch of this team, even though offense is generally Casey Alexander's forte.
Fitz, let's do a little pivoting to football because Colin Klein spoke to the media today along with other assistant coaches at a press conference today. We'll start with the big boss, Colin Klein. What stood out the most about what he had to say earlier today?
But honestly, what stood out the most is something my colleague Kellis Robinette and I talked about afterwards. Boy's got a lot of Bill Snyder in him. He spoke for 30 minutes and he said some things. There's some notable things in there, but mostly there was a lot of words. And he said a lot without saying a lot, and it was impressive. But I think he's extremely happy where his team is coming out of spring. They've got 2 more practices to go, but I think he feels like they've accomplished a lot. They moved the needle. It was pretty interesting. D. Scott Fritchen, who now works for Kansas State Athletics, loves to drop factoids. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he's like 136 days from being hired and 139 days away from playing their first game. So they're about at the 50% mark between the day they were hired, or Klein was hired, and the day that they have to play a game. So feeling like you've made a lot of progress in 13 practices is probably a pretty good sign.
Klein did today, about Avery Johnson and his progress this spring, and talking about another level he believes that Avery can get to. Obviously, this is it for Avery in Manhattan. It's a good final year as the starting quarterback. How he's performed, I think you get a lot of different opinions. Like, the numbers look really good. There have been some signature performances. Certainly, he's going to go down in history in the record book, certainly. But at the same time, the level of winning has not been what people maybe expected. The level of consistency has not been there. And I think last year qualified as a bit of a disappointment performance-wise for Avery Johnson. So what have you been able to suss out from what you hear from Colin Klein, what you hear from Sean Gleason? What is the final form that Avery Johnson takes coming out of spring and going into the fall? What are the things that you think comprise that next level that Avery can still get to as a senior?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of comfort within the offense. I think we could all see the last couple of years, Avery didn't quite fit the notch they were trying to put him into. With that, though, Coach Gleason mentioned this today. He's really impressed with his presence in the pocket, and making subtle moves to get away from defenders, but stay in the pocket. And that, for all we complain about not running him enough, that's a development from not running him enough that might have actually made him more complete for this season. But I think he's going to benefit from play calling that understands the quarterback run game and blocking schemes that complement it. And that's been missing the last 2 years. It's just one of those things that if you're not calling the quarterback run game on a regular basis and understanding how it needs to be blocked, you're probably not going to do it as well. And Colin Klein knows how to do it. Avery Johnson can do it. Let's see what that adds up to.
Feels like we hype up the wide receivers every spring, and every fall they kind of underwhelm a little bit. But Colin Klein mentioned that he really likes what he's seen from this wide receiver group. How do you think that is shaking out, at least at this stage in the spring, how that wide receiver group might shake out for Avery in that offense?
Well, I think they have more, not just options, but, potential good player options that, can be an every down type of guy if they need that. I think they did a good job with bringing in some players and players that fit different dynamics. A little guy from Hawaii that can run, and, bigger receivers like Josh Manning. And it's going to be fun to watch them put it together. And as position groups go, receivers bar is set pretty low over the last 3 seasons. Certainly the last 2. And so if they can't clear that, I don't know what to say. They should be improved over that.
We're joined by Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com here on the Fleming Place Wine Spirits Hotline and the Wildcat Wrap-Up presented by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. And Tim, the Colin Klein and his staff has really got going on the class of 2027 over the weekend into Monday as they get a 4 and a 5 or 4 and a 3-star prospect on offense, specifically a tight end, a 4-star out of North Dakota, and then they get a 3-star wide receiver out of Arizona to commit. How big is it for Klein already to be getting not only his staff that's just taken shape over the last few months, but for the staff in general, just to be getting 2027 commits?
Yeah, highly aggressive recruiting. They're out there absolutely cranking away at this. And I think they realize that now's the time to strike with Colin's hiring freshen all these recruits' minds. Because they haven't had football games, many of them since he was hired. Not much to knock it out of there. And so they're aware of he being the new coach and what he brings to the table and who he is as a player. So I think it's really important to capitalize on it when they can do that, and that appears to be what they're doing. This staff, I think, from just being younger and very diversified with their backgrounds, they cover most of the nation with some type of recruiting ties, and I think we're seeing that in the class. You just mentioned North Dakota to Arizona in a matter of 2 days with recruits, and if you can play football, they're out there trying to find you.
Couple more questions for Tim Fitzgerald and GoPowerCat.com. This is the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Another guy getting a lot of buzz, it seems like, out of this spring camp has been the Oregon running back transfer, Jay Harris. Joe Jackson comes in as the starter, and deservedly so, but is Harris the guy that maybe is the best complement to Joe Jackson if they're going to go to more of a two-back system, or is maybe Harris forcing the issue with what he's done this spring and earning maybe a greater opportunity going into the fall?
I think that's the case. I think he has stood out. This is a perfect example. We were talking about basketball transfer portal guys. He didn't have a lot of stats coming out of Oregon. He had a lot of stats his previous stop, Northwest Missouri State. Now he's coming to K-State. Everyone is raving about this dude. And I got to admit, when he was in the interview room a couple of weeks ago, this dude's put together. This is no little running back. And you can look at his measurements on the website, whatever. This is a substantial guy. He's a pretty big fella. And, honestly, it was kind of like looking in a mirror. Yeah, he's just ripped. But it's going to be interesting because he's a bigger back. He does complement Joe Jackson and certainly Rodney Fields. We'll see where this takes him.
Lastly, Fitz, we haven't really talked about anything on the defensive side, but Jordan Peterson did speak to the media as well. Anything he say or anybody he talk about really kind of jump out to you?
Well, he thinks he's faster than most of his defense. That jumped out at me. There's no other word probably to describe his coaching style than spaz. He just kind of runs around and yells and screams. It's just in constant motion. And I think the defense is complementing that energy by doing the same thing and running around and being very, very aggressive. That was something else Colin said, and Jordan Peterson backed it up. They've been physical this spring. They have been trying to set a tone that they're going to be more physical than they have been, and they've done so without, according to Colin, any injuries that'll affect fall practice as of now, which he probably doomed himself to after, saying that with 2 practices to go. But I think Jordan Peterson's defense is going to be fun because they're going to come after people.
Tim Fitzgerald is a publisher at GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and he joins us every Wednesday at this time for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors, who provide high-quality products at affordable prices. You can check out their showrooms in either Wamego or Lawrence, or visit them online at tallgrasswindows.com. Excellence without exception. That's Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Fitz, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, sir.
That is Tim Fitzgerald. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this hour with some One Gotta Go on 580 Sports Talk. One got to go time here on 580 Sports Talk. Non-conventional four-legged furry household pets edition. The hamster, the ferret, the goldfish, the lizard. One's got to go.
Two got to go for me.
Which ones?
The ferret and the lizard.
Okay, why both of them?
Not a ferret fan and not a lizard fan.
Well, you can only one has to go. You have to let one hang out.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to keep
Goldfish.
Oh, so you're keeping goldfish.
Yes.
But no, I'm telling you, which one would you rather not have the most? The ferret or the lizard?
They're both at the same level, man.
They're so different though. Lizards just sit there, man. Like ferrets, you got to keep up with. That's why ferret would be the answer for me. You got to keep up with those suckers.
Yeah,
they're kind of cute, but they're furry and they run around. Hamsters are really low maintenance. Lizards are incredibly low maintenance. I've told the story on here. We had a lizard. We took the class pet home. It died. We didn't notice for 48 hours. That's how low maintenance those suckers are. You got a quick one?
Yes. So if you're the Chiefs at 9 and you have Ruben Bain, Mansard Delane, or Cardinal Tate, who are you not taking?
I think Delane, just on positional value.
Delane's going to be the best corner in this draft, though.
He is, but positional value, I think, is higher for wide receiver and edge. That my personal opinion on that. You can argue wide receiver or corner, but I think corner and positional value is lower there.
I don't know. I'd take Delane. You got 5 years of Delane.
So who then would you not take of those three?
Who would I not take? Bain.
You not
Too
take
much of
Bain?
a liability.
A liability?
What he did outside of the game.
Well, if there's one team that doesn't care about that. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got headlines. Lots of big Royals news today. We'll get there. And our final mock draft Wednesday on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Final hour of the day here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis hanging out with you on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk. You can also watch us on Facebook at WIBW News. Bit of a shorter show today. We got started just after the 4 o'clock top of the hour due to Royals baseball. Royals dropped the rubber game to the Orioles, in case you missed it earlier. 8-6, a 6-run, sixth inning for the Orioles was the difference. Royals out-homered the O's in the contest with Vinny Pasquantino, Carter Jensen, and Kyle Isbell all going deep, but it was not enough. Michael Wacha takes the loss. First time this year he has failed to author a quality start, and the Royals drop to 8-17 on the campaign. They have an off day tomorrow before the Los Angeles Angels come to town. Angels have lost 4 straight going into their series finale against Toronto tonight. So 2 teams going in the wrong direction. And the good news, actually, they're playing Toronto today. That was a day game, I think.
Yeah, I think it started at 3:10 Central.
Yes, and the Angels won that game. So they snapped their losing streak with a 7-3 win. The good news, if you're the Royals, is Jose Soriano pitched today. And, well, that means he's not pitching this weekend. And that is good news. Because Jose Soriano's earned run average is 0.24 in his first 6 starts. Incredible. Like right now, like they don't give a Cy Young in April, but he would certainly be the guy. He is not going to pitch against the Royals this weekend. And that is extremely good news for the boys in blue, who, of course, been scuffling on offense. So we'll get to that at an appropriate time. Maybe give away some tickets tomorrow or Friday to a game in that series. I also got some hairball tickets to give away, and not because I sound like I might cough one up any minute here. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
hope I'm not giving you my allergies.
Yeah, I don't know if it's allergies or I'm around a constantly sick kid. I don't know what it is, but listen for your chance to score tickets to Hairball Friday, May 8th, 7 p.m. at the Stormont Vale Event Center. Get ready for the ultimate rock and roll party with spot-on rock anthems, killer lights, fire, and smoke. The party kicks off with local faves Rock Party, Topeka's own powerhouse rock band. You can get full details and purchase tickets at 580WIBW.com. But like I said, we got a pair of tickets to give away to that show, and we'll do that this hour here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll also give you a keyword. We'll do that right now for the Win 1K a Day sweepstakes. It's the last keyword of the day. We're giving away $1,000 today with 580 WIBW. And to register for your chance to win this hour, you got to text this keyword to 785-272-9429. The keyword for the hour is clean. Clean. C-L-E-A-N. Clean. Text clean to 785-272-9429. You have until 6 o'clock to text that keyword and get yourself registered for a chance to win $1,000 today from 580 WIBW. Again, that keyword is clean. Speaking of that text line, 785-272-9429. Want to hear from you. Also want to hear from you in the live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We have now seen the new home of the Royals. At the very least, we have seen where it will be located, or where it is generally, roughly going to be located,
which is different than many thought.
Yes. Yes. It has, it found a home that I don't think a lot of people were considering at the very beginning of this. We'll go through that here in headlines, but I want to hear from you. If you've been tracking the story today, if you've checked out the renderings, what do you think? Crown Center will be the home of the Kansas City Royals from approximately 2030, 2031, and beyond. Forever Kansas City is the tagline that the Royals used with their promotional video narrated by Denny Matthews. Maybe you saw it if you were watching the TV broadcast today. Maybe you saw it on social media. But I want to know what you think of the proposed Crown Center location for the new Royals ballpark. 9429. We got a bunch of other headlines to get to, including a playoff roundup. We've also got the finale of Mock Draft Wednesday, because tomorrow is the actual draft. And we're going to do Mock Draft Thursday tomorrow. Myself and Spencer and Brendan are all going to show up with our mock drafts. We're going to tell you who we think the Chiefs are going to pick. We'll do our yearly mock draft competition. I don't remember who won last year. I think it might have been me, honestly. I think I might have won.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Not like anybody ever fares that well. And this feels like a particularly unpredictable NFL draft.
I think everybody's getting 1-1, and I think after that it's a big question mark.
It's a big old toss-up. So, but we'll do our mock drafts, and we'll unveil those on tomorrow's show. A whole lot more draft talk on tomorrow's show. But today is the finale of Mock Draft Wednesday, including what I have determined. And we've been doing Mock Draft Wednesday for the better part of 2 months, and I have read a lot of mock drafts. I'm going to give you the single worst one for the Kansas City Chiefs that I have seen. It is so bad that I would call on the air for the arrest of Brett Veach if he drafted the way one national writer suggested that he should draft. So that's coming up. It is that bad. It is coming up on Mock Draft Wednesday. We'll get some final Royals thoughts in this hour as well.
That is bad.
Your text, 785-272-9429, and your comments in the YouTube chat, 580 Sports Talk. But we begin with the big news of the day, and I'll just go ahead and read right from the press release. The Kansas City Royals and Hallmark Cards, strange bedfellows, but Kansas City, right? Announced today they are teaming up to bring Royals baseball and billions in private investment and economic development to Crown Center through a historic project that will enhance tourism and lift Kansas City's profile nationally and beyond. A world-class ballpark surrounding mixed-use development and reimagined headquarters for both iconic institutions at Crown Center would create more than 20,000 jobs in the construction phase alone. The 85-acre development surrounding a park like Central Square with fountains has little, if any, precedent worldwide for a professional sports project, and the expected private investment of $2 billion or more would be the largest in Kansas City history. The total project would be funded primarily by the Royals and other private investors and supplemented by public funding from the city of Kansas City and Missouri's Show Me Sports Investment Act. And if you're not familiar with what that is, but maybe you're familiar with what star bonds are here in Kansas, it's the same picture. Basically the same deal. A fund that exists to issue a bond for a public project like a stadium and then pay down that bond over time with tax revenue. That's what the Show Me Sports Investment Act does. It is very similar in its construction to the star bonds. This first of its kind development is backed by diverse leadership groups across the region and would enhance previous investments, including the streetcar, and optimize ample parking within a 10-minute walk. Royals baseball would push from the bottom into the top 10 in walkability among Major League Baseball teams, lowering the cost and growing the accessibility for Kansas Cityans to enjoy and connect with their team. So, my thoughts here. Number one, this is so much more of a coherent plan and vision and partnership for the Royals in a new ballpark that if this had been presented to voters in Kansas City as the initial plan when it was voted on 2 years ago, I think it passes. I think it passes with room to spare. This is so much more well-conceived and so much more sensible and so much more Kansas City friendly than the, hey, we want a ballpark. You going to build it for us? That's basically what the last plan was. Build us a ballpark somewhere over there. People live there? That's no concern to us. Just build us that ballpark. Money, please. That was the plan. That's why it didn't pass. A plan like this would have had a much better chance to pass a public vote. My second thought is I would have liked if this had gone to a public vote. I think it's only fair. If you're going to collect some taxes on something, you should put it or collect some bonds on the backs of taxes. You should put that to a vote. I think the same about the state of Kansas, people in Wyandotte County having a say in whether or not they get the Chiefs Stadium. I think that would have been fair. And these bond programs, the Star Bonds and the Show Me, what is it officially again? The Show Me Sports Investment Act. These kind of exist to do a bit of an end run around a vote. And I don't love that. I will confess that I do not love that. But I do think that this plan, had it been originally proposed, would have had a lot more public support.
Yeah.
Other thoughts I have. Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church.
I love the
in all the renderings, it's just sitting there like Carl's house in Up. Like it's just there on the corner, like right next to the home plate gate of the proposed new ballpark. And again, renderings are renderings, but I can think of, at least one consideration that maybe the initial renderings for the ballpark's location do not make. Other considerations that apparently the new renderings do not make. You have to have a batter's eye at a baseball stadium. So you're going to see these renderings out there in the wild. The design company Populous, which I believe is a Kansas City company, has put out these design renderings. And you will look at them and you may see fountains in center field. Yeah, no, man, you can't actually do that. You got to have a batter's eye. Like you can have fountains that are below the fence and only go off like after a home run, but you can't have like a water feature with fountains in center field. You got to have a batter's eye. Like, so these renderings,
the city of fountains too literally.
Yes. Take the renderings with an extreme grain of salt as to what the ballpark itself is actually going to look like. But ultimately, I really like the location. I think for everybody complaining about parking, you're going to hear it. Oh my God, you're going to hear it. Well, where are we going to park? Where are we going to tailgate? Like I go to KU games, people tailgate in parking garages. Guys, all you got to do is be willing to sit behind your car and turn on a grill. Like you could tailgate anywhere. And there are going to be plenty of places downtown where you can park and do a little walk into the stadium. Maybe it's a further walk than you're used to, but you're going to have to walk to the ballpark. It's not the end of the world. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it my whole life, going to games in downtown Denver. I'll save money. I'll pay $5 to park a half a mile away, and I'll make the walk. Or I'll hop on the light rail. Or in Kansas City's case, hop on the streetcar.
Which
pay
is
less to park.
Right there. It's literally on the line.
It's going to be right there. Yeah. Go ahead and hop on the streetcar. Parking is not going to be as big a concern as I think people in their head have conceptualized that it is. I don't think that's going to be a big deal at all. So those are my thoughts. I love the site. I like that the Royals have partnered with another Kansas City institution and Hallmark to make a substantial investment to the area. I think it's going to be a beautiful part of Kansas City and a beautiful ballpark. A question from the 785. Couple of questions. One question: outside of the fountains and Crown Vision, what's one thing from Kauffman Stadium you want at the new stadium? I love the Royals Hall of Fame. I think that's definitely good. I think that's so great. And I hope that we do see something like that. Other than that, though, I think that, yes, I like Crown Vision. I like the fountains. It wouldn't be a Kansas City ballpark without some iteration of that. But I'm also okay with the new stadium also being its own thing and having, new traditions and new things that make it its own. As for another question from the 785, is there a timeline for completion? The timeline is the lease is up at the K in 2030. At the end of the 2030 season, the lease is up. So right now, 2031, the Royals don't have a home. But also, they got to complete it by 2031. It sounds like they expect to begin construction in 2027. And if they can do that, I would imagine 2030 they'd be playing downtown.
Yeah. I got a couple quick thoughts.
Go for it.
A little disappointed from the stuff we were seeing that was going through council and all that stuff last week that was going through all the Kansas City boards and whatnot. Little disappointed the Western Auto sign isn't in the back. Because when I, as somebody not from the area, when I think Kansas City, I think cool signs like that.
It is a landmark.
To me, that's a little disappointing.
You do get the skyline view. Yes. It can be a north-facing stadium, which that's pretty rare. You only got a handful of ballparks that face north. Coors Field in Denver, one of them. I
think it's going to be cool for what's been made in Power and Light only a few blocks away.
Yes.
That's that's huge because I think
you can absolutely make a night out of we're going pub hopping at Power and Light, and then we're going to the Royals game, or we're going to the Royals game and then we're going to Power and Light. You can do that and only have to park once. Like that's a big deal. That is going to make the game, like I've said, more of a part of a night out than the whole thing. And I don't mind. Like, I'm a big enough baseball guy. I don't mind the baseball is the whole part of the night out. That's good for me. But if you want to be in a ballpark with more people in it and a little bit more buzz and a little bit more noise, then you want the looky-loos. You want, like, the 20-somethings who had a couple of beers at no other pub and decided, yeah, you know what? I will go to the Royals game tonight. We'll scream my head off for Vinny and Bobby and Salvi. Like, you need those people in the stands. And those people were not schlepping out to the Truman Sports Complex.
No.
You just weren't getting that kind. It's not like it's not to say there was never a walk-up crowd or an impromptu, hey, let's go out to the ball game. Just not as much of that as you're going to see. You're going to see a huge spike in that with a downtown ballpark.
Yeah. One other thing I want to say, I feel like while they were announced in coordination with everything, so much better than whatever they had tried to say they were going to think about doing last year at the beginning of the season. Do you remember when they came out with those?
Yeah.
Where they were like going to displace half the businesses in downtown.
Yeah,
the
Washington Square Park plan. It was smaller, less turf, essentially, but also, like you're taking out like existing businesses. Here, it's like, all right, we're taking out like Hallmark owns all this stuff, and they're willing to move
some offices that aren't even being used.
Right. So, it does seem like
old hotel that needs to get torn down.
Much more Kansas City friendly. I really do. I think if this had been the plan all along, like the first plan that was presented to the voters in Jackson County, it would have passed. I would have passed easily. I'm excited for this. And I've said it over and over again. I love downtown baseball. I love downtown ballparks. I love Kauffman Stadium. I will miss it. I will carry fond memories of the K in my heart forever, but I am very much looking forward to going to a ball game in downtown Kansas City. And I think a lot of people are too. So that is obviously the big news story of the day. We've got some college sports notes to get to, Spencer.
Yes, former K-Stater David Castillo has found his new home. He is committed to Santa Clara.
Going to play for Herb Sendek.
Obviously going down a level in play. I think it's going to be great for him to compete at that level compared to the Big 12 level.
I'm not as surprised. The further along it went in the portal process, I'm less surprised that he essentially went down a level to mid-major play.
Yeah. In baseball news, we got some watch list season for baseball. This is actually big time. This actually means more here. K-State shortstop D. Kennedy has been named a semifinalist for the 2026 Brooks Wallace Player of the Year Award. The College Baseball Foundation announced Wednesday. I believe that is it the best Division I player?
Yes.
Or is it the best shortstop?
No, it might be the best shortstop. Because it's the Golden Spikes
yes,
award.
You're right. I believe
it's
the best shortstop. KU baseball redshirt junior Bodie Ray, I believe Ray. I think it's Ray, who was selected to the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association Stopper of the Year midseason watch list. That was announced today. The award's given annually to the top relief pitcher in D1 baseball. Speaking of KU baseball, they took down, as the number 16 team in the country, they took down Nebraska, the number 20 team last night, 9-7 at home in front of a standing room only crowd of 2,674 fans. They swept the season series with Nebraska, the 2 games, one in Lincoln and one in Lawrence. They've now reached the 30-win plateau in 3 consecutive seasons for the first time since 2008 to 2010 seasons. They've won 14 of their last 15 games. They're 30-11 overall. It also marked the 20th comeback victory of the season for this team. Never say die, Jayhawks.
Yeah, big win for them. K-State went over Grand Canyon yesterday as well. So it was a good day for both KU and K-State on the diamond as they gear up to play each other at Toynton Family Stadium this weekend. Big series, the league leaders coming to Manhattan. All right, let's do a playoff roundup, shall we? Let's do today's playoff roundup.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
We'll start in the NBA, where an interesting trend is developing in the first round. Home teams, the higher seeds, are just 8-5 now in the first round after both Boston and San Antonio lost last night. Boston losing to Philadelphia, huge night for the former Baylor Bear, BJ Edgecombe. San Antonio didn't just lose the game to Portland. They lost Victor Wembanyama, who smacked his face on the court in the second quarter, left with a concussion. He'll be reevaluated as things go, but that's a scary deal for the Spurs because without the alien that is Victor Wembanyama, who won the Defensive Player of the Year award yesterday unanimously, San Antonio very much in danger of not making it out of the first round against the Trailblazers. So both of those series are 1-1. The Lakers beat Houston last night. The Lakers right now are LeBron and like four dudes from 24 Hour Fitness and LeBron's kid. And they're up 2-0 on the Rockets.
Is this like vintage LeBron we're getting?
Basically. I don't know how much more of that he's got, but he knows his team needs it right now. It's incredible. He's 41 years old, man.
They're
unbelievable.
Hey, the schedule helps them though because they don't play again until Friday.
Yeah, a lot of off days. Now, they're not going to get Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves back in this series, but it's incredible that they may not need him. They're up 2-0 on the Rockets. Tonight, maybe the least appealing night of playoff basketball conceivable. You've got game 2 of Orlando and Detroit. Nobody cares about that series. You got game 2 of Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and the Thunder are going to win that game by a bazillion. Like, if you are a diehard hoop head, take the night off. Like, go reintroduce yourself to your wife and kids. Like, if you're going to sit down and watch both of those games, you are a real NBA sicko. And I don't know that we got a lot of real NBA sickos in our audience. So that is the least appealing night I can think of playoff. I wouldn't watch the Thunder play at gunpoint if they weren't playing the Nuggets. I don't want to watch that crap that they call basketball. So that's the NBA. Over in the NHL, they were working overtime in Tampa Bay and Denver last night. The Lightning, even their series with the Canadiens, J.J. Mosier with the game winner for the Lightning, while the Colorado Avalanche went up 2-0 on the Los Angeles Kings. Nick Waugh with the game winner in overtime. That was such a boring hockey game, and it took forever. There was a 20-minute delay. A fan was smacking the glass, and a piece of glass just exploded behind the Kings bench.
Wow,
and,
that's a lot of force.
Yes. Apparently, they were really excited. There had been a save on a penalty shot. Scott Wedgwood stopped Quentin Byfield on a penalty shot, and the fans were so excited smacking the glass that a pane just went kaboom, and glass got all over their coach, the Kings coach. So there's this 20-minute delay to replace the glass, and meanwhile, the Kings have to skate around. They can't be on the bench because their skates get cut up by the glass, right? So they got to get off the bench. So they're just on their knee out in front of their bench. The Avalanche could chill on their bench, just kind of hang out. There were also a lot of skirmishes, not like full-on fights, but a lot of skirmishes, a lot of post whistles, shoving, and unpleasantries. It was a boring hockey game. And I already didn't get any sleep after the Nuggets gacked game 2 Minnesota series. So I said to myself, I'm watching the third period. I said, I need to see a goal. The first goal wins as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to see a goal. I'm turning off the TV. Well, the Kings scored in the power play with 6 minutes left. So I shut it off. And then my kid woke up and we had to attend to him. When he woke up, I woke up and I checked my phone and saw the Avs had won in overtime. So that made me happy. And maybe I'm the jinx. Maybe I can't watch game 3. I don't know. But Avs lead that series 2-0. The Kings have 2 goals in 2 games and have not scored at even strength. So that kind of tells you what you need to know about that series. Elsewhere last night, Boston beat Buffalo and Utah snuck past Vegas. Both of those series are even at 1-1. Game 2 between Edmonton and Anaheim is tonight. Also, Philly gets home ice for the first time in their series with Pittsburgh. Flyers already up on the Pens 2-0. Dallas and Minnesota play game 3 of their tied series. You're going to watch any playoffs tonight, watch Dallas, Minnesota game 3. That's 2 of the 4 best teams in the NHL playing in the first round. Insane. Yeah. Great format you got there, Gary Bettman. Awesome stuff. That'll do it for the playoff roundup. When we come back, it's the series finale, the season finale of Mock Draft Wednesday for 2026 on 580 Sports Talk. 5:33 on 580 Sports Talk. The NFL draft starts tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Don't forget to join us, 580 Sports Talk crew. We'll be live on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Go subscribe so you know when we go live tomorrow. You'll get a notification if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll also be live on our Facebook page, WIBW News, 8:30 tomorrow night. We will go live ahead of what we expect will be the number 9 overall pick in the first round that is made by the Kansas City Chiefs. If they pick earlier because of a trade, we'll adjust. They pick later, we'll be hanging out anyway, so we'll be around when they pick. But 8:30, join us tomorrow night on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Do you think we'll get a live reaction to my team's pick?
Maybe.
Like, do you think I'll be there?
Maybe. I don't know. What, they pick 8th?
They pick 7th.
Oh, I don't know. Depends on how...
Depends on what time the draft actually starts.
Yes. When does the draft actually start, and how long does it take between the pick is in to the pick actually
How many
made?
commercial breaks are we going to get?
Well, the commercials don't actually slow the clock, but
no,
they do
but they
slow
slow
the announcement
of the pick,
yeah.
because it's like pick is in.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then they go to break.
We could. Well, we got a chance. We got a chance to maybe be live for Washington's pick at 7. We'll see. But anyway, it's time for the series finale of Mock Draft Wednesday. We've been taking a look at mock drafts every Wednesday for about the last 2 months here on 580 Sports Talk. And let's take one last run through some of the more prominent local and national media members and how they think the draft will go for the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting with Peter Schrager at ESPN.com. He has a trade in his first-round mock between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Cowboys also have 2 first-round picks. They pick number 12 and number 20. Chiefs, of course, pick 9th and 29th. Schrager's trade is an even swap. So the Chiefs would trade their firsts for Dallas's firsts. And the Chiefs, instead of picking 9th and 29th, would pick 12th and 20th. And with those picks, Schrager has the Chiefs taking at number 12 overall, Reuben Bain, and at number 20, Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper. Now, I am starting to see Cooper really rise in some late mock drafts at wide receiver. Started to see him a little bit more in late teens to mid-20s, where earlier in the process felt like most of where we were seeing Omar Cooper was either at the very end of the first round or the start of day 2. But my question with that collection of picks for the Chiefs is, couldn't they just stay put and get the exact same guys?
Potentially.
Like, why rearrange deck chairs? Like, if you want Reuben Bain, take him at 9. Like, don't mess around with it.
Cooper might not be there at 29.
Maybe not.
You'd get a comp, though. Another guy that close.
Yeah, like
somebody.
I don't know. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense to rearrange in that capacity. Like just,
you could get,
just stay at 9.
Yeah, like you could get what Jesse Newell has as the 29th pick.
So I do think that's a weird one from Peter Schrager. I don't think the players selected are a reach at all for the Chiefs, but I do think you could have that same exact draft picking 9 and 29, unless there's a run on wide receivers. I don't really foresee that. Like, I don't think there's going to be a run. The consensus for most of this draft period has been the wide receiver group isn't that great. So why would there be a run on first-round wide receivers? Like, all of a sudden we think a bunch of them are going to go late first round. I think it's more likely if there's a run on a position late first round, it'll be corner. Personal opinion, but that's what I think. Todd McShay, his mock draft 5.0 and his what do you call it, newsletter, and over at theringer.com, he stays consistent. Same picks for the Chiefs as he had in his mock draft 4.0. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, at number 9. Colton Hood, the cornerback from Tennessee, at number 29. You mentioned Jesse Newell, beat writer for The Athletic, Chiefs beat writer. The Athletic put out their final beat writer mock, where the writers they have covering all 32 teams make picks on their team's behalf. Jesse Newell stays put. There were trades allowed in the beat writer mock, but Jesse Newell didn't bite. He stayed put. Takes Reuben Bain with the number 9 pick. Denzel Boston at number 29, the wide receiver from Washington, with that second first-round pick. And that was what you were alluding to, Spencer, that Omar Cooper, Denzel Boston, fairly similar as prospects go. Do you have one of those two you like better?
I don't know, man. I feel like I like Cooper better, but that's just because Mendoza was throwing in the ball last year.
Could be, right?
Had a heck of a season.
For the record, for what it's worth, I pulled up Mel Kiper. He didn't do one final mock draft, but he did do a final big board. He has Denzel Boston 21st on his big board, and he has Omar Cooper 35th. So if Cooper's the guy you really want, again, that to me suggests he's going to be there at 29. Which, again, makes the Schrager mock just so odd to me. But, yeah, like, I think we probably saw more of Omar Cooper than we saw of Denzel Boston, just in terms of, like, the
playoff.
Yeah, we saw him in the playoff and all that. But I do really like the thought of a guy who's a legitimate 6'4" on the outside for the Chiefs. Like Omar Cooper listed at 6 foot, and he's really good. And he's got, ability, what they call it, that above the rim ability to go up and get it and make contested catches. But I do like the size of Boston. For me, that makes him a more ideal fit than Omar Cooper, if they're going to do that at 29. Lance Zierlein of NFL.com goes a little bit off the board here, including a player I don't think we've talked about once during the course of Mock Draft Wednesday. Zierlein has the Chiefs taking Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU, with the number 9 overall pick. I really could see a scenario where Delane is the pick, but for me in that scenario, that's Tate and Tyson and all of the edges off the board. That's 5 of the first 8 picks being Tate, Tyson, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, and Reuben Bain. If those guys are all off the board at 9, I don't think the Chiefs are going to pick a tackle at number 9.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. So I could see in that scenario, okay, the blue chippers at edge and the blue chippers at wide receiver are off the board. What's their other most pressing area of need for a starter? It's cornerback. So get the corner. Again, that's my perception of positional value. And your mileage may vary on that. But my perception of positional value is I'd rather have the wide receiver the edge than the corner. But I could certainly see a scenario where Delane would be the Chiefs pick. At 29 overall, Lance Zierlein of NFL.com has the Chiefs selecting UCF defensive end Malachi Lawrence. He is a guy who I have not really even thought about during this entire process, but I've seen him at the back end of a couple of more recent mock drafts. So I said, okay, interesting. Malachi Lawrence. Let's go read his scouting report. And I saw this line in his scouting report from NFL.com, which Lance Zierlein writes all these. He makes splash plays behind the line, but must provide better consistency and discipline in run support. In other words, that's not a Steve Spagnuolo defensive end.
Yeah, no.
Period. It's not a Steve Spagnuolo defensive end. He can't play the run. Now, maybe they think at 29 he's the most, what do they call him now? Another draft buzzword, twitched up, real twitchy athletes. He might be the most twitched up defensive end at 29 available. And if you love the edge class and you say, all right, we can teach him to play the run, but we're just going to point and shoot as a pass rusher for year one and live with some of the deficiencies against the run. Maybe you talk me into it, but I don't think that kind of player is an ideal fit to bring into the Chiefs defense, Steve Spagnuolo's scheme. So I have my doubts on Malachi Lawrence. I would not think that would be maybe at 40 if they don't have an edge yet, but I don't think that'd be the pick at 29.
Yeah,
even at 40, it doesn't feel right.
I mean, a little off the wall, very off the wall.
That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I really think there. The big board for Mel Kiper, he's got Lawrence number 30 on the board. That's behind most of the edges that we've been talking about, but notably TJ Parker is one that's come up in quite a few mock drafts. TJ Parker's all the way down to 49 on Mel Kiper's big board. So Mel, not a big fan of TJ Parker. Lastly, we're going to end on a low note. Danny Kelly of The Ringer with the single worst Chiefs mock draft that I have seen in this process. Honest to goodness, if Brett Veach drafted like this tomorrow night, I would call for his immediate removal as the Chiefs general manager. impeachment, prison, The Hague. This made me so mad.
Who is this guy?
Danny Kelly, I really like Danny Kelly's work. He's written about football on the internet for a very long time. I remember he's a Seahawks guy, which is kind of why I like him. He got his start writing for the SB Nation Seahawks blog, and now he's been a national writer. He's been on some podcasts. He's been at the Ringer, I think, for a while. And I don't think I think generally he knows his stuff, but I don't think he knows what the hell he's doing with his Chiefs portion of his mock draft. He has the Chiefs selecting Georgia tackle Monroe Freeling with the number 9 pick.
Is he just like doing this on purpose? Because
is he trolling? Could he be trolling?
Is he trolling because he lost his running back as a Seahawks fan to the Chiefs?
Freeling the pick. Spencer Fano and Francis Moanoa go off the board on his mock draft. So this is the Chiefs with the number 9 overall pick taking the 3rd offensive tackle on the board.
In which they kind of have it figured out.
Go to hell,
right?
Man. That's
they already
so
got
bad.
it figured out. They've already got tackle figured out. They don't need it that badly.
That's so bad. Like, if you wanted to make the straight face argument, Spencer Fano should be the Chiefs pick at number 9. I would disagree with you wholeheartedly, but I would at least listen to your argument to its conclusion before I told you to get out of my face. If you say, well, I think the Chiefs are going to draft Monroe Freeling because, I'm not even letting you finish the word because, I'm telling you to exit the conversation. I have no interest in what you have to say. Then, at number 29, Danny Kelly has the Chiefs taking Kenyon Sadiq. And you guys know my feelings on Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's great if you want to draft a Calvin Klein model, but if you want to draft a good football player, you should draft any other tight end.
I will say him being at the end of the first round is better than where we've seen him a lot.
Yeah, there was a mock earlier that had him going number 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which was insane to me. Mel Kiper really likes him. Mel Kiper's got Sadiq 15th on his draft board. But again, we're talking about physical traits. All of this stuff in here is he's fast. He can jump high. He ran a really quick 40. This was his vertical time. This was his broad jump. I don't care, man. He averaged 22 yards a game in his college career. I need somebody who can actually play. I'm out on Kenyon Sadiq. A Freeling Sadiq first round, when you've got all of these needs at premium positions, edge and wide receiver and cornerback.
Look, there's certainly a cornerback available there.
If they come out of day one with the 3rd offensive tackle off the board and a tight end, I would lose my mind. So thank God Danny Kelly is not actually in charge of the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to take a quick break here on 580 Sports Talk, but first, we got a ticket giveaway to do. Hairball, Friday, May 8th, 7 p.m. at the Stormont Vale Event Center. The ultimate rock and roll party with spot-on rock anthems, killer lights, fire, and smoke. The opener is Topeka's own powerhouse rock band, Rock Party. And I'll take the fastest fingers. 785-272-9429. Call number 1. You're going to see Hairball. We'll come back with more 580 Sports Talk. 5:49 on 580 Sports Talk. Coming to the close of this shortened program today. We came on after Royals baseball. Royals again fall to the Orioles 8-6, lose 2 out of 3 to the Birds at the K after snapping their losing streak with a 6-5 win last night. So that's 12 runs in back-to-back games. Starting to see Vinny Pasquantino's power come back. He's got a home run at the K for the first time this year and had 2 hits today, including a double to go with that home run. Carter Jensen continues to produce. Michael Massey's bat's waking up a little bit. So the guys are starting to score some runs, and that's all well and good, but you got to get the pitching to match it. And unfortunately, the bullpen continues to disappoint today. Eli Morgan's turn to be the culprit. And that's the frustrating thing for the Royals right now is it's everybody. It seems like every night there is a new goat. There is a new pitcher in the Royals bullpen who is found wanting. It's one thing if you get the one guy where you know, oh no, not this guy, and then he goes and he gives up the lead. Everybody in the Royals bullpen has at least at one point this year had a moment where they have blown a game or where they have been the reason why the Royals have lost. It was Urseg the other night, along with Alec Lang. It's been Nick Mears. It's been Eli Morgan. It's been John Schreiber. It was Matt Strahm who blew the lead last night, even though he got bailed out by Michael Massey and later the Royals scoring that winning run in the 9th inning. Really, the only guy to make it through scot-free is Daniel Lynch. And
that's because he was pulled out early.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance. They pulled him the other night in the extra inning game. I think Lynch was going to close. If the Royals had won tonight, I think the plan was to go to him in the 9th. And I think that's why he didn't come in the spot where Morgan came into the game, because Morgan came in to face a lefty Cowser with Mayo and Henderson after that. And like Henderson's also a lefty. So there's one out, you're down, but you've got, more runners on. You're trying to put out the fire. You need to get 2 outs with lefty, righty, lefty coming up. I think that would have probably been the spot for Lynch, given how he's been used. But I think they were holding him for the 9th because it wasn't going to be Urseg. He'd work back-to-back nights. I think it was going to be Lynch to close. But, he's the only one. Everybody else has owned a piece of some bullpen ugliness this year for the Royals, and it makes it really frustrating because we got long memories about bad outings. We have short memories for good outings. We have long memories about bad ones. And the Royals bullpen trust tree right now, not a lot of limbs on that sucker. Nope. It's basically just Lynch, who I think Royals fans would feel like, okay, yeah, this person is definitely going to get me 3 outs. And that's a tough place for the club to be. That's a tough place for the clubhouse to be because they're feeling some of that too. And it's a tough place for Matt Quatraro to be. Thankfully for the boys in blue, they get a day off, and no team in baseball maybe needs one more than the Kansas City Royals. They are off tomorrow, which gives us a lot of time to talk NFL draft tomorrow, which we are going to do. But before that, we got to wrap up today's show with the final word, and we'll do that after this time out on 580 Sports Talk. Time for the final word today here on 580 Sports Talk as we conclude this Wednesday show. Spencer Dupuis, what do you got?
I feel like I'm more excited for the new Royals Stadium than the Chiefs Stadium, just based upon location and where it's going to be, because it's downtown. It's gonna change how Crown Center currently is, and not I don't want to use the term revitalize, but like rejuvenate that area.
Rejuvenate?
Yes, rejuvenate that area of downtown Kansas City. And it's funny enough, I was just on X on Twitter, saw a video montage of Southwest DC from 2008 when the Nats Stadium was first built till now, and how there were buildings there and how it's all new and everything's new. And I think that could be a good way for Kansas City to rejuvenate that area. And I'm excited, just a little disappointed the Western Auto sign won't be seen from home plate looking out to the outfield.
Final word for me on today's program. Talking season for the NFL draft is fun, but I'm very excited for tomorrow night and for the rubber to meet the road. There's so much misdirection. There's so much smoke blowing. There's so much bloviating. When you get to this time, agents are planting information. Coaches, GMs are planting information. And nobody really knows anything. But I do think that it's pretty easy to get a feel for what it is the Chiefs need to and want to accomplish in this 2026 draft, because they have 3 top 40 picks where you would expect to come away with a starter, 1 top 10 pick where you would expect to come away with a day one impact player, like a candidate for rookie of the year, offensively or defensively, that kind of a piece. And 3 very obvious positions for those 3 picks that the Chiefs could fill and need starting caliber talent in edge, cornerback, and wide receiver. Now, I'll be darned if I know what order they're going to go, but I feel pretty strongly that those 3 positions are going to be filled in fairly short order over the course of Thursday and Friday by Brett Veach and the Chiefs staff. Which of those names make the most sense? Which of those names are going to be called? Well, I'm excited to tell you my prediction on tomorrow's show. We'll have the whole gang in the house for our final draft projections and our own full first-round mock drafts on tomorrow's edition of 580 Sports Talk. So we certainly hope that you will join us for that. We'll have a full show with no Royals baseball. We are back tomorrow from 3 until 6, and then our draft extravaganza on our YouTube channel starting at 8:30 tomorrow night. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero, and this was 580 Sports Talk. Good night.